Yeah, so I'm here to complain about Primeaux RV in Carencro, Louisiana. They say that they're one of the best dealerships in the world, but I have a little story to tell. About a year and something ago, I bought a couple campers for some property that were going to be used for camps. The first one I went to pick up, and I drove 2 hours to get the camper to be informed that they sold it out from underneath me because they wanted, one of the other salesmen had a friend that wanted the camper. So at that point, I was pissed off. I contacted the owner of the company through email, let him know what was going on. He contacted me back, which was Mr. Mark Primeaux, and he stated that he would take care of the issue. He understood my point, and I ended up getting the camper, in the process pissing off the sales manager as well as my salesman. The sales manager being Steve, and my salesman being Tate Saunier. So then I bought another camper. Like I said, I don't hold grudges. It's all about, getting a good deal. I bought another camper from them several months later. The camper needed a lot of work. No big deal. Paid for the camper. Went back a couple days later to pick it up. While picking up the camper, I noticed that some items had been taken out that were previously in there, like the stove or whatever. So then I questioned to find out where the items were. Later on, I was told that the items were accidentally taken out the camper, but somebody in the service department, name not going to be mentioned, stated that they assumed the camper was being sold as is because it was in such bad condition that they could just go ahead and take the items they wanted out the camper and they wouldn't be missed. Wrong answer. Again, salesman pissed off, sales manager pissed off. Fast forward 6 months later, my dad goes over there, purchases a camper. They have no problem selling him a camper. He buys a newer camper, pays cash for it. Good transaction, no problem. Today, which is Good Friday, I spoke to another sales member of the team the day before and made a deal on a camper that the other two were from my mom and my brother. Third one was going to be for myself to put on the property. Again, it was a fixer-upper, but still $4,000 for a used camper is, a good amount of money to pay. So I make an appointment to go on the Good Friday to pick up the camper. I drove in from Mississippi 4 hours to be in Lafayette the next morning to pick up the camper and do the paperwork. I get there at 9 o'clock in the morning, look at the camper, say everything's good to go, wait for the salesman to get all the paperwork together, blah, 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 blah. Well, in the meantime, Tate Saunier sees me on the property, and apparently him and the sales manager have a powwow. They're still holding a grudge because of the fact that I involved higher management over them, for them trying to screw me the first 2 times I bought campers from them. So fast forward 3.5 hours of waiting there in the sun and trying to get this camper taken care of. The salesman I was dealing with at the time, which is unimportant because he was very professional, he was dragged into their mess, pulls me in his office and tells me that the sales manager, Steve, told him that I needed to buy a camper somewhere else, that they would not sell me a camper, which I find extremely laughable as well as very unprofessional because Steve was not man enough to walk into the office and tell me this himself. While walking through there, Tate was telling the guy I was speaking to that day that he wouldn't even mess with me, turns around, looks at me and smiles, which again I find to be very unprofessional since neither one of these two guys had enough nerve to come up to me and tell me they would prefer not to deal with me. The funny thing is, had they not done anything wrong, then they should not have a grudge against me. The past, they shafted me, I dealt with it, it was taken care of, and I'm over and past it, ready to buy another camper. So I wasted all my time as well as 3.5 hours to be told that they will not sell me a camper. Why would they not sell me a camper? Because I cost too much ways the first 2 times I bought campers when they tried to screw me over. Had they handled themselves professionally, and had they handled themselves in a manner in which I don't care if I'm paying $500 for the camper or $50,000 for the camper, it's my money, and when you buy something you expect not to be lied to, number one. Number two, you expect that if you make a deal with somebody and you put a deposit on the camper, when you drive 2 hours to pick it up, you're not going to be told that they sold it to somebody else out from underneath you because it's a friend of the sales manager. Well, again, had none of this stuff had any weight to it, they should not be holding any grudges against me. So therefore, I think people need to realize that Primeaux RV is a laughable place. They're very unprofessional. And I find that it's not just people like me who bought used campers. I have a brand new camper. But this is for property that's sitting on the property, need a little bit of work. Again, I went on the Better Business Bureau site and found out that there were several complaints that had been closed. People that have also bought campers, and the service department has lied to them as well as the sales. They've got horrible service. They've been lied to. Same complaints I have. Some of these campers were newer campers. So I think that the fact that I bought used, cheaper campers that needed work handyman specials didn't have anything to do with it. I think it's just the fact that Primeaux RV does not train their people to be professional, and that as long as you will allow them to screw you over and take advantage of you, then you're considered a valued customer. But if you stand up for yourself and take a stance on, the difference between right and wrong, they have a problem with you, and then they're going to deny you service. The part that really pisses me off is the fact that they made a deal with me, allowed me to drive 4 hours, let me sit on that lot for 3.5 hours to tell me that I need to buy a camper somewhere else. That is just the most unprofessional thing that any dealership could do, and I don't care who you are, how much money you have. I don't think anybody would appreciate being treated that way. So before you buy an RV at Primeaux RV, please, please, please check elsewhere. There are many other dealerships around here that will treat you a lot better. Southern RV, for one, that will treat you a lot better. And I think that their in-house staff, if there's a problem, you deal with it. I think that it would be taken care of in a much more professional manner than people who carry grudges and act like they're still in high school, as Tate Saunier did and Steve, the sales manager. I don't see how you acquire a position like that and have that kind of lackadaisical attitude. But, hey, whatever. I'm good. I'm done with them, and it's a lesson learned.